Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we're diving deep into a principle that is at the core of success and personal transformation, taking full responsibility for your actions and your life. The truth is, life will not always hand you a winning lottery ticket. You are not guaranteed success simply by existing or by wishing for it. Growth requires grit, discipline, and most importantly, the ability to hold yourself accountable for your own path. Far too many people make excuses for why things don't go their way. They blame circumstances, others, or even fate itself. But the reality is, those who succeed in life, those who truly stand out, are the ones who understand that taking responsibility is the first step to mastery, both in business and in life. Today I'll show you why no excuse is ever good enough, and why taking ownership of your outcomes is the single most important decision you can make to elevate yourself. This isn't about being perfect. It's about doing what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable. So, let's get started. Responsibility is power. Let's face it, if you aren't taking responsibility, then you're handing over your power to something else. People who complain and point fingers are powerless. They've already admitted defeat even before they start. The moment you take responsibility for your actions, your decisions, and your life, you take back control. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You're the one creating them. It's not the economy, your background, or the people around you who are limiting you. It's your refusal to take responsibility for what happens next. People who understand this principle rise above the noise and rise above the excuses. They know that in order to change their reality, they must first change their mindset. Every challenge is an opportunity to seize power, but it requires you to take responsibility for how you respond. Responsibility demands self-awareness and self-reflection. It's not about blaming yourself for every failure, but about acknowledging that your actions or lack of action have led you to where you are. It forces you to look yourself in the mirror and accept the fact that your results are a reflection of your decisions. You're not a victim of your circumstances unless you choose to be. Responsibility is the antidote to mediocrity. When you take ownership of your actions, you take the first step toward personal growth. It doesn't matter where you started. What matters is where you're going and what you're willing to do to get there. In the end, taking responsibility is not a burden, it's a blessing, because it gives you the ability to change your life on your own terms. To take responsibility means to accept both the good and the bad. It's easy to take credit when things go well, but the real test comes when things don't go according to plan. Do you point fingers, or do you roll up your sleeves and figure out what went wrong? The most successful people in life have learned how to own every result they achieve, both positive and negative. When things go wrong, they analyze what went wrong and adjust. When things go well, they celebrate, but they're already planning for the next step. Responsibility isn't about being perfect. It's about being willing to correct course no matter what. It's about knowing that your success is entirely in your hands. The moment you make excuses is the moment you relinquish control. The key to understanding power through responsibility lies in realizing that it is not limited. When you take responsibility, you are tapping into an unlimited source of potential. If you blame circumstances, you limit your potential. But when you own your actions and your outcomes, the opportunities become endless. You are not bound by the limitations that others impose on you. You are bound only by what you allow yourself to believe about your own capabilities. Responsibility is about growth. It's about pushing yourself beyond what you thought was possible. Those who refuse to take responsibility will never know what it's like to tap into their full potential, because they are always deflecting blame. The moment you choose responsibility, you are choosing growth, power, and personal mastery. The danger of excuses. Excuses are nothing more than mental roadblocks. They are stories we tell ourselves to avoid the hard work that is required for success. Every time you make an excuse, you are training your mind to avoid discomfort, to shrink from challenges, and to settle for mediocrity. Excuses are a form of self-sabotage. They create an illusion of a reason for failure, but the truth is that they only serve to perpetuate your inability to break through barriers. It's easier to blame external factors than to take ownership of your own decisions and actions. It's easier to point the finger at someone else and to ask yourself why you haven't done more with your life. But every excuse you make is another opportunity for growth that you've thrown away. Excuses allow you to live in a state of denial. They keep you from facing the uncomfortable truth of your own limitations, and they allow you to ignore the fact that you have the power to change your reality. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you become free. You no longer have to look for reasons why things didn't work out, because you understand that you are the one who is ultimately responsible for the outcome. Excuses are for the weak-minded. They are for those who refuse to face their own shortcomings and make the necessary changes. Excuses are the perfect excuse for failure, nothing more. The successful person recognizes this and eliminates excuses from their vocabulary altogether. The problem with excuses is that they sound so convincing. They can be disguised as reasons, justifications, or even explanations. But in the end, they are nothing more than ways to avoid taking responsibility. You can justify your lack of effort by blaming others or circumstances, but deep down, you know the truth. Success isn't easy, and failure doesn't come from lack of opportunity. It comes from lack of responsibility. The person who makes excuses will never find the real reason for their failure. They will never ask themselves the hard questions or confront the truth about their own actions. The person who takes responsibility, on the other hand, faces those uncomfortable truths head on and uses them to fuel their future success. In life, everyone faces obstacles, but it's how you respond that matters. People who make excuses believe that they are justified in doing so. They believe that their struggles are so great that they are exempt from the same standards of accountability that others are held to. But the truth is, no one is exempt. Everyone has challenges. Everyone has setbacks. But those who succeed are the ones who refuse to let excuses define them. They understand that excuses are just a way of hiding from the truth. They face their problems directly and use them as stepping stones to greater success. They don't let the past define them, and they don't let the present hold them back. Commitment to action. You want to change? Then get to work. There's no magic formula, no easy shortcut. If you want to be successful, you have to commit to action, and that commitment must be unwavering. Too many people are paralyzed by fear, by doubt, or by the overwhelming weight of their own excuses. They talk a big game, but never do the work. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simple. Action. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you don't take action, you're nothing more than a dreamer. Ideas alone don't change the world, actions do. When you commit to action, you acknowledge that progress is messy. You understand that failure is not a sign of weakness, but an inevitable part of the process. The only way to truly fail is to stop moving forward. The person who takes action understands that failure is simply a stepping stone to success. They don't get bogged down by setbacks. They use them to fuel their next move. The commitment to action requires discipline, focus, and the willingness to get your hands dirty. The moment you stop making excuses and start taking action is the moment your life begins to change. But commitment doesn't mean taking action sporadically. It means showing up day in and day out regardless of how you feel. Successful people are committed to consistent action. They understand that real progress is built over time, one step at a time. There will be days when you don't feel like it, when the challenges seem insurmountable. But it's those days that matter most. It's on those days that you show what you're truly made of. If you want to change, you must commit to doing whatever it takes, no matter how tough it gets. The path to success is not a straight line. It's a series of actions taken over and over again, even when the outcome is uncertain. Commitment to action also means accepting responsibility for the results of your efforts. It's not enough to take action and then blame the outcome on circumstances or bad luck. When you take action, you own the results. If things don't go as planned, you don't make excuses. You analyze what happened, learn from it, and make a better plan. You keep moving forward, never looking back. This is the mentality of the successful individual. It's about being relentless, about refusing to accept failure as the final answer. The road to success is paved with hard work and commitment. And if you're willing to walk that road, there's nothing that can stop you. The power of self-discipline. Discipline is the foundation of every successful person's life. It is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. Without discipline, your dreams remain just that, dreams. Discipline is the force that keeps you moving forward when everything else is trying to pull you backward. It's easy to give in to distractions, to procrastinate, to let your emotions dictate your actions. But those who succeed are those who have mastered the art of self-discipline. They understand that discipline isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from mediocrity, freedom from failure, freedom from excuses. Self-discipline is about creating habits that support your long-term goals. It's about doing the things you know need to be done, even when you don't feel like doing them. It's about pushing through discomfort and staying focused on the end goal. The disciplined person doesn't rely on motivation, they rely on habits. They built a system of actions that lead to success, and they follow that system no matter how they feel. Motivation will come and go, but discipline is what keeps you on track, even when times are tough. Discipline also means saying no to distractions, saying no to things that don't align with your goals, and saying no to the easy way out. In a world full of temptations, it's easy to veer off course. The disciplined person knows that every choice they make either brings them closer to their goals or further away. They make decisions based on where they want to be, not where they are right now. They resist the urge to take shortcuts because they understand that true success requires hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. This kind of discipline doesn't happen overnight. It's built over time through consistent, focused effort. But don't mistake discipline for rigidity. True self-discipline is flexible. It allows for adjustments when needed, but it never loses sight of the end goal. A disciplined person understands that success is a marathon, not a sprint. They are willing to make sacrifices now for greater rewards later. And when they stumble, they don't give up. They recommit to their habits and continue on their journey. Self-discipline is the secret weapon of high achievers. It's the tool that enables them to push past resistance, to stay focused on their goals, and to create results that most people can only dream of. Overcoming fear and doubt. Fear is the single most paralyzing force that keeps people from taking responsibility and taking action. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. These are all natural emotions, but they cannot be allowed to dictate your life. Fear will always be present, especially when you are on the path to greatness. It's your response to fear that determines whether you succeed or fail. The person who takes responsibility faces fear head on. They don't avoid it. They use it as fuel to move forward. Fear is simply a sign that you're pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone. And if you're not pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone, you're not growing. Fear and doubt are powerful forces that can take over your mind if you let them. They can make you second guess yourself, hold you back, and keep you stuck in the same place. But those who take responsibility know that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. They recognize that the only way to overcome fear is through action. The more you act, the more confident you become. The more you face your fears, the weaker they get. Fear is not something to avoid, it's something to confront head on. When you take responsibility for your fear and your doubt, you take away their power. You make them part of your journey rather than obstacles that stand in your way. Fear, while uncomfortable, is often a signal that you're on the brink of something new, something transformative. The more you face your fears and doubts, the more you will prove to yourself that they do not have the power to control your decisions or actions. Doubt is the voice in your head telling you that you're not ready or that you're not capable. But the successful person doesn't wait for doubt to disappear. They act anyway. They understand that doubt is natural, but it's their willingness to push forward in spite of it that sets them apart. They have learned that doubt only holds power if you let it. So when fear arises, they lean into it, use it as motivation, and keep moving forward with purpose. They recognize that the greatest growth happens when they choose to take responsibility for their fears and take action regardless of how they feel. The more you overcome fear and doubt, the more you develop a sense of inner confidence and belief in your abilities. The person who allows fear to rule their life will remain stuck in the same place, paralyzed by indecision and uncertainty. But the person who takes responsibility for their fear learns to use it as a tool for growth. They take the action that fear would have kept them from and discover that fear, once confronted, has no lasting power over them. With each action they take, they become more resilient, more capable, and more confident in their ability to achieve anything they set their mind to. This process is not about eliminating fear or doubt entirely. It's about learning to move forward despite them. The power of accountability. One of the most crucial elements of responsibility is accountability. While taking responsibility means acknowledging that your actions shape your future, accountability ensures that you follow through on those decisions and actions. It's easy to make promises to yourself in private, but the true test of character comes when you have to show up day in and day out and be accountable to those promises. Accountability forces you to take your goals seriously. It turns vague intentions into concrete commitments and actions. When you hold yourself accountable, you are less likely to let excuses slip in. You know that your results will be scrutinized, whether by others or by your own standards. This creates a sense of urgency. You no longer have the luxury of procrastination because you know that your success or failure is a direct result of your commitment. Accountability adds a layer of responsibility that ensures you do not drift off course. It strengthens your resolve, making you more focused on the end result and more committed to doing whatever it takes to achieve it. Without accountability, it is far too easy to give up, to make excuses, and to let distractions get in the way. The most successful people in the world have learned how to hold themselves accountable. They don't rely on external factors to motivate them. They set their own deadlines, create their own standards, and hold themselves to them. They track their progress, measure their efforts, and make adjustments when necessary. Accountability is not about being perfect. It's about staying committed even when things don't go as planned. It's about knowing that you are responsible for the outcome. And if things go wrong, you will take full ownership of it and adjust accordingly. Accountability is the bridge between goals and results, the essential tool that ensures that your responsibility doesn't stop at your thoughts, but turns into tangible, measurable action. However, accountability is not just about self-monitoring. It's about seeking feedback from others, surrounding yourself with people who will push you to be your best. Accountability partners, mentors, coaches, or even friends serve as mirrors, helping you stay on track, giving you perspective when you lose yours, and challenge you to do better. These people are not there to coddle you or let you off the hook. They are there to remind you that the world doesn't owe you anything. You have to earn everything. They will ask the tough questions and hold you to the highest standards. In doing so, they ensure that your journey of taking responsibility is not just theoretical, but practical and results. The role of mindset in responsibility. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world. If you believe that success is something that happens to a select few, you will always find excuses for why it's not happening to you. But if you believe that success is a result of your actions, choices, and responsibility, you will open yourself up to limitless possibilities. Responsibility begins with the mind. It is the foundation for all of your decisions, actions, and results. A responsible mindset is one that sees opportunities rather than obstacles. It is a mindset that recognizes that regardless of the circumstances, the power to change your life lies within you. Those with a responsible mindset do not make excuses because they understand that excuses are the language of the weak. They know that no matter what happens, they have the ability to control their actions and their responses. This mindset creates resilience in the face of adversity. When things go wrong, the person with a responsible mindset does not give up. They learn, they adjust, and they keep moving forward. They never allow external circumstances to dictate their level of success because they know that their mindset is more important than their environment. Adopting a responsible mindset requires intentionality. You must actively choose to think differently about failure, success, and your role in achieving them. A responsible mindset sees challenges as growth opportunities and not as insurmountable roadblocks. It sees failure as a lesson, not as a reflection of who you are. It knows that you are not defined by your setbacks, but by how you rise from them. Cultivating a responsible mindset is not easy. It requires discipline, focus, and a commitment to personal growth. But once you embrace this mindset, you will begin to see life through a different lens. One where your decisions and actions matter more than any external factor. The power of mindset cannot be overstated. It is what drives everything you do. A mindset that embraces responsibility is one that constantly seeks improvement, constantly searches for solutions, and constantly pushes toward greater achievement. The moment you choose to take responsibility, you shift your mindset from one of passivity to one of proactivity. You stop waiting for things to happen and you start making them happen. Your mindset becomes your most powerful tool, shaping not only your actions, but your results.